by the Speaker to conduct investigation within 10 days and report to the House. And so there's agency for us to complete our work by Sunday, coming Sunday, which is the 10th of the day the Speaker gave us his instruction. Now, we met on Monday, last Monday, to look at the modalities, because these are special committees. We don't have any program. So we decided that we'll have what we call viewing of the video. All of us were not part of the program, the event that occurred. And so we'll watch from a video, or any other multimedia program that people will send to us. And so we draw up this program that after watching the video, we will now invite those that we identify as witnesses, and then those that we identify as main people who were involved in the activity. We will have one session for those we identify as the witnesses to give us their account, and then the second session will be with those that we thought were directly involved, allegedly to be involved. And then after that, we will write our report. And so when we met, we decided also that videos will come from everywhere. Some may be dotted. And so we brought in an expert, a forensic expert, to look at whether those videos were dotted or they were genuine videos. And fortunately, majority of them largely from different angles as to where the person was standing to take the shot were certified as being genuine ones. And so our work was cut out for us. So Wednesday was the first day of our meeting to have what we call a public hearing for those who were there as witnesses to give us insight as to what happened. And that was what we started doing when, at the point, the Clerk of Parliament came and whispered into my ears that he wanted to see me. So I walked out to him and he said, "Oh, have I heard from the Speaker after the Speaker's announcement?" And I said, "Yes, I've spoken to the Speaker. He asked me to go ahead." And so, has he given me any instruction not to do public hearing? And I said, "No, the Speaker has not given me any instruction. In any case, the Speaker wants to give any instruction. He would have done that on Tuesday when the two leaders met with him and they rendered apology to the whole public. But the Speaker categorically said the committee should go ahead to do the investigation and bring it up."
So just a bit of clarity. The clerk's intervention was with regards the public hearing.
Exactly.
And not really about whether or not the committee's work should proceed.
So initially it was about a public hearing. Then later on, so let me just build up what really happened. And so when he came the first time, I said, well, I'm not taking what he's told me because the Speaker has not called me, so I'll go ahead. If the Speaker he should call me and inform me. So we were doing our work. My vice chairman, who is also a member of the minority, was there. He saw him clearly. We were doing fine. Then he came the second time again and said, "Oh, have you still not heard from this?" I said, "No, I've not heard. He's the clerk. If you should call the Speaker." Then we continue. The third time he came and he said he needed the cameras in the chamber. And so I announced that they needed the cameras in the chamber and that parliamentary cameras can go to the chamber, but cameras from outside, from media houses, we can continue our public hearing. And if they want the parliament one, he can go. Then they said, "Oh, okay, but we should stop the public hearing." I said, "No, I'm not going to stop. I don't take instruction from him. I take instruction from the Speaker. This committee is for the Speaker and not for him." And so we walked out and he said, "Well, he's begging me I should stop." I said, "No, I don't have any instruction from the Speaker to stop, so I'll continue." So I came back and we continued. Then my colleague, the vice chair, decided that he whispered into my ears that he has an instruction from his leader to meet him in the office. Then my colleague on the right also said, well, one of the minority who has been billed said he was coming to testify, so he was on his way. So I whispered and I said, well, one of your colleagues is on the way coming. I don't want it to look like NDC MPs questioning, and so he should stay, just as we did for other colleagues who were there. And it's okay, he will gladly stay. Then my colleague said, well, the person has sent another text message that he cannot come because he has instruction from their leader that he shouldn't come. And so I told him that, well, this is what has been relayed to me, so you can go and meet your leader and find out what is going on and come back. We will continue. And then the clerk came in again and said, well, if I will not stop the public hearing, and from his word, if I will not stop, then he's going to withdraw the clerks to my committee I mean, he's the head of the parliamentary service. And so I said, okay, if you withdraw, then I'll stop the public hearing. That was where I came in to say, well, I'm suspending the public hearing until I hear from the speaker. That's what led to the suspension of the meeting. Thereafter, I went to meet with him. I called my leader, the leader of the House, Honorable Ayariga, to find out where he was. And so they're having a conclave at the speaker's lobby. I said, well, I'm coming there. So I asked all my members that we should go and meet them. When we got there, the minority leader was there, the majority leader was there, 2 deputy speakers were all there, in addition to the 5 of us. So we engaged them. Well, why? Why do you, including the clerk, why do you unruly, interrupted our discussion? And he said, well, they were having a discussion. And
who was having a discussion? Is it the leaders, the majority, and then the minority leader, along with the speakers?
All of them.
They were the ones having the discussion?
Those that I've just mentioned. The minority leader, majority leader, the first deputy speaker, second deputy speaker, and then, and then the clerk. They were having the discussion. So I said, well, the clerk came to unruly, interrupted us, and I think it wasn't right. I was really angry.
Yeah.
I mean, I show it. I'll not lie at all. I show it to them. I said, well, I'm older than all of them here. I've been in this house. This is my 5th term. Apenyo, this is your 3rd term. The rest, the first deputy speaker, this is your 4th term. I've been here before you. Ayariga, this is your 6th term. I came to meet you in this house. You went and came back. So this is your 5th term. Where I'm more senior in age, I'm older than majority of them. I'm almost 60 years, and so they cannot treat me on a national set level. And this is
the manner they did.
Yes, and so they cooled. I was asked to cool down. I was just walking away. Then they said, oh, they've not heard from the speaker. So I called speaker on phone. I said, you were not hearing from speaker. And I said, speaker, you are on loudspeaker. I have these people here. They've interrupted what I was doing, and they said, you said I should stop. And speaker, nobody has spoken to me. And then I said, you are on speaker, and I mentioned the names of the people who are there. And they say, yes, indeed, we are here. And then Honorable Minority Leader said, speaker, when I came to you in the office, I was trying to explain to you that since we have decided to apologize, we should get it. The speaker said, we've not agreed on it. Then the majority leader said, well, when you were saying the thing, I left your office. So there was no agreement. Then speaker said, well, we can go back to the Hansard to find out whether I said that the work of the committee to cease or they should not do the work again. Then Honorable Minority Leader said, well, then we should look at the Hansard. I said, well, speaker said there was no agreement with you. If the speaker has said it, then we'll look at the Hansard. Then the speaker went off. So we agreed that we're going to look at the Hansard.
At the Hansard.
So I left it that way, that I'll meet my members today. Later in the evening, the speaker called me in the night from where he was.
Right.
And he said, well, he has spoken to the clerk. He has not instructed the clerk. He was clear in his mind that this committee should continue its work. So whatever I'm doing, I should go ahead and do it.
Right.
So I told the speaker, I'm not going to go by his word. I was interrupted rudely by the clerk. So he called the clerk for the clerk to tell me that I should go ahead with a letter. So he said, well, he'll do that. So quickly, the clerk called me and said he has spoken to the speaker that we should continue with the work today. That was what transpired. I'll be meeting my members today, and then we'll look at the work.
What do you think happened? An attempt to stop you from being able to do your work? Because these individuals who were gathered and meeting when you went to meet them along with your members, clearly, like you're telling us, had not received any instruction whatsoever from the speaker. What in your own understanding was playing out when they decided to direct the clerk to have you stop the committee works?
Well, that would depend on them, because they have not given me the work. The speaker who has given me work to investigate. So if they have anything at all, they should direct their thoughts to the speaker. So I'm not in their mind to know why they wanted us to stop. If they really have any reason why they wanted to stop, they could have even engaged me. They didn't engage me. They want to use the back door.
If I felt that was seeking to undermine you in some way, of course.
Not only undermining me, they were undermining the speaker. What was I going to tell the speaker when the speaker requested for a report? Will I tell him that you have instructed, the speaker has not instructed anybody? What was I going to tell the person? So my integrity was at line. on the line. Not only my integrity, the integrity of this house. I mean, you saw clearly what happened. It's out there. Everybody has seen the videos. So what are we running away from? People went and members of parliament, honorable members of parliament, went under tables, breaking tables. Don't we have manners? Why are we called honorable members? If we don't have manners, we don't have integrity, then we should not be in this house. And I think it's time for us to sanctify this house and bring sanctity and order to this house. It's becoming too many, in recent times. Why? Are we not called? Are we not elected by the people? Can't we be responsible in our action and acts?
What would you say when people want to make the argument that conclave which had the clerk come to you to ask you to stop the work was an attempt to prevent all of this and this sanctification from proceeding? Because obviously you had the buy-in of the leader of your side as well.
No, at all. In fact, the leader of my side said, even when the speaker was making it, he has not heard the speaker saying that we should stop our work. So clearly, and also I said that the leader said when Honorable Apenyumaki was talking to the speaker, he left the speaker, so he doesn't even know. So he has not heard from the speaker since then. So clearly, there was nothing, there was no, in fact, if there were some agreement,
right,
he would have called me, not the clerk. If there was an agreement, majority leader, would have called me, not the clerk. Are you getting my point?
Yeah.
So clearly, there was no agreement amongst them.
So this solely had to do with just the minority leader orchestrating this. Is that the feel you get? Because if the majority leader was not aware, under what authority is a question that will be asked. Did the clerk march to a committee and ask them to stop and even direct to withdraw the staff?
After this interview, you should talk to the clerk to find out under whose authority did he do that. Because clearly, if a whole majority leader was subjected to our interrogation yesterday, majority leader was there.
Yes.
He came, he was the first person we interviewed, or we interrogated. If the leader of the house would subject himself, if he knew that there was a program like this or an agreement, he wouldn't have come. He would have just said, Emmanuel, stop. And let's find a way of telling the public. But he came and gave his testimony. So why would anybody, apart from the majority leader and the speaker, why would anybody, leader of government business, who subject himself, who are you then to say that you will not come? Or to use whatever means to stop us from doing what?
The clerk has not sought to explain to you why he did what he did yesterday.
No, he hasn't explained. He hasn't explained.
Would you want an explanation in any way or form as to what informed his choice of asking to even withdraw
I've
support
left
staff?
that to his judgment. I've left that to the judgment of Ghanaians. I believe in him as a clerk. He was doing it maybe with a good intention, as I know him. But this one, I will not take it. I'm not a man that backs out. What is right should be right. And what is wrong, we should all say it is wrong. I mean, where we have gotten to as a parliament, the whole world is looking up to us. The whole of Africa is looking up to Ghanaian parliament. We should not degenerate this parliament to this kind of things. We should be able to come up and show that we have strength and that democracy in Ghana is on its level and way up.
You're meeting the rest of your committee members today. You say you're going to continue tomorrow. Are you going to continue with the clerk to the appointments committee, because she was delivering her testimony when the abrupt suspension had to come through? Are you going to continue from where you left off?
Anybody at all who is BO, she has not finished her testimony, and so she will also be called to continue. Even if she's not continuing tomorrow at all, we will make sure that she comes to finish her testimony.
And it's all going to be open to the public, this entire process?
Our initial arrangement was to have the witnesses, as we have yesterday, to come and tell us their story. We're not supposed even to interrogate them. They should tell us their story and to collaborate the videos that we all watch.
Right.
Then the second leg is to bring in those that we have identified, 10 people we identified, some of them going under table, breaking tables, some pulling, cables out. We'll have that one in camera. That was our arrangement. But as it is now, It looks like we should bring everything out there for everybody to see. And they should come and tell the whole world, well, that is not my decision now. That will be the decision of the committee.
you push for something like that.
Yes, that we should have the rest, as public hearing.
There's a concern out there that having this openly could further disparage or cause irreparable damage to the image of Parliament. The testimonies that came through yesterday and the likes. Do you share in this school of thought?
I don't at all. Eric, you know that the videos are all there. Whether we bring people out there or not, whether this committee continues to do its work or not, the videos are all there. We have people bringing videos, people who were not even here, sent us. We have over 100 videos from different perspectives. And so whether we like it or not, you show it on your TV, your media houses, other media houses are showing it. We've seen the worst. I mean, a member of parliament lifting up table, removing his shirt, another members of parliament, holding each other's throat. What have we not seen? And what are we to hide again? If you really want a tree to grow, you have to plant the tree. And the seed must first of all get rotten and then sprout out before. So let us go down there, clean ourselves, and come out and say, we are sorry. It's time for us to be bold, to tell Ghanaians that we are sorry. What we did was wrong. We are supposed to be above everybody as honorable members, even though we are human beings.
Right.
We've erred, and this is where we've gone wrong. With the report, and then we can move forward. I believe Ghanaians will forgive us.
Are you expecting the minority to now fully partake in the processes of this committee?
That is left to their entire judgment. If they want, fine. If they don't want, we'll continue. If they don't come, we'll write our report.
If they don't come, it will affect the work of the committee, won't it? Because
it
based on the testimonies that we've got yesterday, it's looking more and more like if you're wanting to call culprits, if I can use that, it will largely lean towards them coming before the committee to explain themselves.
If I show you the list of those that will be calling as corporate, it's not only the majority side. We have the minority. It's not only minority side. We have majority members as well.
I say this based off on the hearings from the Open yesterday, which saw a lot of the NDC MPs explain and seek to label blame to their minority counterparts.
So they should come. The minority should also come and lay the blame on the majority. Then we will decide where the blame will go.
And so for you, their decision to come before the committee...
The videos are there. In fact, whether they come or not, we have seen the video. We can write the report with the video. Whether they come to testify or not, the videos are there.
You will not necessarily need them to be able to do your work.
We have the powers as the power of the High Court to bring anybody at all.
Means you can subpoena possibly.
Even if he gets there.
What sort of recommendations should Ghanaians be looking forward to after this work is done? There are those who are asking for more punitive sanctions for members of parliament because they make the argument that for quite a while, when these things happen, you tend to get away with it because you're honorable members.
Unfortunately, we are not supposed to recommend the measures that are supposed to be taken. We are to recommend, identify those who were involved. Speaker has already laid out the measures and the punitive actions that will be taken against them. So if we identify them, that's where it goes. But we will go beyond that. I'll give you a typical example. There was this gentleman who was running all over the place. He's not a member of parliament. He was involved in it. They were from that person. Why was he involved? If you are not a member of parliament, why were you there? There's a sitting of parliament. And sitting of parliament means that we're in the chamber. A committee of sitting is parliament. And so why should someone who is not a member of parliament who be involved in that act?
Involved in the fisticuff or shaking of
hands? Yes. He was part of the people who were even lifting their table. A non-MP. So do you mean that we should not recommend about how this thing should be done? Two, if you look at the whole setting, the appointment committee itself should have a manual. So in our thinking, we think that as we used to have in Government Assurance Committee, where there's a manual that regulates, because we have standing order, but the standing order does not regulate how you operate. There should be manual for every member, every committee as the committee should operate. So we should draw a manual for them. Another recommendation I've been thinking about is that, you see, when you look at our standing order, there should be a commissioner for ethics and privileges. That commissioner has not been, appointed. So we should appoint that commissioner. And then this is our code of ethics. How many of our new members, especially those who are involved with the new members, how many of them have this? We should give out this thing and let us go through this and sign an undertaking that will go by this code of ethics. I mean, these are some of the things I'm looking at. Beyond recommending those that we saw, we should have these things as part of our
I'm curious about the non-member who was actively engaged in the actions on that night of the 30th. Was it just one non-member who was identified, or there are a lot more of such individuals who are actively partaking? And have you been able to identify this individual who is going to come before the committee?
Fortunately, we have identified the individual. We have contacted him. His bill, in fact, he was even calling me. He didn't know that we are suspended. He couldn't come yesterday. He said he will come today. So we are going to ask him to come tomorrow. I don't want to preempt anything. I don't want to say anything now. Apart from him, we have non-members who are marshals. Marshals are non-members, but they are officers of
ensure security.
Exactly. So, and the police officers. We have some non-members, but they work in Parliament. This particular individual is not a staff. In fact, my engagement with him behind the scene was that he was coming to support an individual who was to be vetted.
Interesting development. So we look forward to what? Tomorrow you're returning after this meeting with the rest of your members?
After meeting the rest of my members, we'll have a press conference. We'll inform the public as to the way forward.
Honorable, thank you very much.
Thank you, Eric. I'm grateful.
Pleasure.
This program is rated PG. It contains scenes of brief nudity, mild violence, and strong language. Parental guidance is advised.
Can't have it. You can't hit your cake.